What if the difference between me AI and magic AI wasn't the model at all, but the way you think before you type? In this video, I'm breaking down 7 mental models that turn any AI into a precision tool. These are not gimmicks or one-off prompts. They're ways of framing problems so the model gives you clarity, constraints, and better drafts on the first try. If you've ever felt like you're wrestling vague answers or rewriting weak outputs, adopt these and watch your sessions feel sharper and faster. Start with the chef versus waiter model. Most people treat AI like a waiter. Bring me something tasty, and then complain when dinner is bland. Pros treat AI like a chef you brief. You specify diners, audience, dietary rules, constraints, the dish, deliverable, portion size, length, and plating, format. Instead of write a blog about remote work, you say, write a 600-word article for senior managers at SaaS companies. Tone, practical and calm. Include 3 data-backed tactics with citations as source. Finish with 1 action checklist. When you brief like a chef, the model can cook with intention. Vague in, vague out. Clarity in, craft out. Second, the scaffolding. First model. Bad prompting asks for finished work right away, then spends an hour editing. Power prompting builds the frame first. Ask for an outline, bullet architecture, or a table of sections with objectives before any prose. Give me a 7-point outline with a 1-sentence objective for each section and the metric it should move. Once the scaffold is right, you greenlight the draft with explicit rules. Draft sections 1 to 3 only, 120 to 150 words each, short sentences, no cliches. Scaffolding prevents rambling and lets you correct strategy in seconds instead of fixing paragraphs later. Third, the constraints or kindness model. Models expand by default, constraints focus them. Set hard limits and failure modes up front. Max 220 words. Sentences under 20 words. Use only facts in facts.txt. If information is missing, insert to tcase and stop. Add a banned words list and style switches. Avoid synergy, unlock, leverage. Prefer concrete verbs, ship, test, measure. These constraints are not nitpicks. They are guardrails that protect you from bloated drafts and invented facts. The paradox, the tighter the box, the more creative the solutions inside it. Fourth, the role and rubric model. Don't just ask for output. Define who's answering and how they'll grade themselves. Act as a technical editor for a security audience. Use this rubric. Accuracy, 40%. Clarity, 30%. Completeness, 20%. Tone, 10%. After drafting, self-score against the rubric and list 1 fix per category. Roles steer domain assumptions. Rubrics make quality measurable. This single move upgrades, sounds good, into a loop where the model proposes its own improvements before you even read it. Fifth, the show, don't tell model. AI copies patterns better than instructions. Provide a gold example and say, match this. Paste 1 great paragraph, a winning email, or a deck outline and add. Mimic structure and rhythm, not phrases. Keep average sentence length and paragraph size similar. Replace metaphors with fresh ones. When the model sees a living specimen, it maps cadence and form instantly. If you lack a gold example, generate 2 alternatives first, pick a winner, and use that as the exemplar for the final pass. You're building taste into the loop. Sixth, the 2 model mind. Generator versus critic. Treat the model as 2 personas in one thread. First ask for a fearless draft, then switch hats. Now act as the critic. In 5 bullets, identify the weakest claims, jargon, or missing steps. Propose precise edits. Don't rewrite yet. Finally, apply only those edits. Leave voice intact. Separating creation from critique prevents timid first drafts and overconfident final ones. It also saves you from doing the emotional labor of pointing out flaws. The AI does it, and you just approve the surgery. Seventh, the decompose and compose model. Big problems become solvable when split into atomic tasks. Break a request into parts, perfect each, then assemble. Step 1. Summarize source A in 6 bullets. Step 2. Summarize source B in 6 bullets. Step 3. Create a comparison table with columns. Claim, A evidence, B evidence, gap. Step 4. Draft a 2-paragraph synthesis with 1 insight per paragraph. By isolating each move, you reduce error and force evidence to meet structure before prose. Composition becomes the last easiest step. Now watch how these mental models stack into a single flow. You brief like a chef with audience, tone, and deliverable. You demand scaffolding first to agree on structure. You add constraints as kindness to force brevity and truth. You set a role and rubric so the model aims at a standard. You include a show, don't tell exemplar, so cadence is right. You run a two-pass with generator then critic. And if the task is complex, you decompose and then compose. The result is an output that feels like it came from a prepared team, not a guessing machine. A few practical prompt starters to internalize these models. Chef brief. Audience equals who. Goal equals what change. Constraints equals length. Tone. Banned words. Deliverable equals format over wow. Use only facts from files. Insert ETK for missing info. Scaffold first. Propose a 7-section outline. Each section has title, 1-sentence objective, key evidence, target word count. Constraint set. Max 500 words, sentences less than 18 words, no adverbs ending in lie, replace abstractions with examples. Role plus rubric. Act as the role. Draft. Then self-evaluate on accuracy, clarity, completeness, tone with percent scores and 1 revision per category. Show, don't tell. Match the structure and rhythm of this sample. Mirror paragraph and sentence length. Do not reuse metaphors or phrases. Generator versus critic. Phase 1, fearless draft. Phase 2, critic with 5 concrete change requests. Phase 3, apply only those changes. Decompose/compose. Handle these steps separately. Confirm each before moving on. Only assemble when all steps pass review. Common failure patterns and the model to fix them. When outputs feel generic, you skipped show, don't tell, or the audience brief. When they ramble, you forgot scaffolding and constraints. When the tone wobbles, you didn't set a role or provide a voice guide. When facts drift, you didn't specify sources or for gaps. When the draft is timid, you merge generator and critic too early. Diagnose the failure, pick the matching model, and rerun with that lens. Speed without sloppiness comes from defaults. Save your best briefs as snippets. Keep a 1-page voice card with audience, tone sliders, preferred verbs, banned words, and 3 gold paragraphs. Maintain a tiny library of exemplars, 1 crisp memo, 1 persuasive email, 1 script that performed, pin a scaffold template and a rubric. You shouldn't be inventing these every session. You should be loading them like presets. 2 guardrails keep power prompting honest. First, never let AI be your source of truth for numbers, law, medicine, or claims that move money or safety. Provide the facts or demand citations. Second, keep authorship integrity. If you use heavy AI, disclose internally. If originality matters, run a specificity pass. Replace any generic phrasing with concrete details from your domain. AI is your lever, not your reputation. Here's a 5-day install plan to make these mental models automatic. Day 1. Write a chef-style brief for your most common task and save it as a snippet. Day 2. Create a scaffold template and run 1 project, scaffold first. Day 3. Draft a 1-page voice card and a banned words list. Apply them. Day 4. Run a generator critic loop on a deliverable, accept only edits that match the rubric. Day 5. Build a mini exemplar library, 3 gold samples, and a compose checklist. At the end of the week, your prompts will feel less like wishes and more like instructions. Any model can be a power tool when you think like a builder, brief like a chef, frame with scaffolds, constrain with kindness, assign roles and rubrics, show the pattern, split creation from critique, and decompose before you compose. Do that, and the same keyboard starts producing work that sounds like you, lands with your audience, and ships on schedule without you typing twice as hard.